Namaste. My name is Neelima. Welcome to Reflections Along the Way podcast, where you will be listening to reflections from experiences and learnings along my life's journey. Today, I'm very happy and honored to have Vivekji join us for a conversation. Vivekji is a spiritual teacher with Chinmaya Mission. He's the resident Acharya of Chinmaya Mission Niagara, Chinmaya Mission Albany, and Cleveland, I believe. And he's also the deputy director of Chick West, Chinmaya Yuva Kendra West, empowering youth and young adults. He's a guide and inspiration to so many people to find independent joy in their lives through the study of Advaita Vedanta. Hari Om Vivekji, welcome to this forum. I am honored and grateful that you have decided to accept my invitation to join me in this conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedule for this.
Yes, I am happy to be here. Hari Om to you. It is my good fortune. I get to be with you and then to be with the listeners also. I'm joining you from Niagara Falls, Canada, and wow. I believe you're in the Washington, D.C. area.
In Richmond. Mm-hmm.
Yes, which is really cool that we're connecting between two countries.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, the technology these days has empowered us so much in so many different ways, and we should all be very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave a brief introduction about you, Vivekji, but I'm sure the listeners and I don't know much about yourself, the work you do. So please, if you can just start off explaining a little bit about that before we get into the actual conversation,
yes,
that would be great.
Sure, Neelimaji. I was born and raised and live in Niagara Falls, Canada, as I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents are from India. They were born there and then they moved here in the 70s. And I have an older sister and a younger sister. We grew up in a business-like family. So my parents worked a lot. They made my sisters and I work a lot too. And I eventually went to business school and I focused on supply chain management and commercial real estate. And after I completed my degree, I started to engage in that field for a few years. And at that point in my life, I felt like I had everything that I'm supposed to have. I was young and I got to travel and now I was making money. There was no inspiration though. I wasn't sad and I wasn't sick. There was no inspiration. And I had this acute feeling that if I don't find inspiration, that I'm going to become a robot. I'm going to live in a very instinctive way, like the majority of people around me. Mm-hmm. In 2005, I moved to India and I lived in an ashram in Mumbai. And I studied the science of oneness, the science of happiness, Advaita Vedanta, mm-hmm. from Swami Tejomayananda, who's a master in this science. And I did this as a monk for more than 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I came back to North America, specifically to Canada, at the end of 2007. And since January of 2008, I've been serving Chinmaya Mission, the organization I studied with and now I teach with, mm-hmm. since January 2008, sharing thoughts on how people can be happier, how that happiness is not going to be found outside, but it is going to be found inside. And I know you already know that, and I'm sure your listeners know that too. So this is how my association with Chinmaya Mission continues to grow. And now we have met each other before, and now we're getting to know each other more through a new part of Chinmaya Mission, which is our Chinmaya University.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into Chinmaya University, I have been speaking about Vedanta a little bit because I am studying Vedanta, and my association with Chinmaya Mission actually started because I started studying Vedanta. Before that, I did not know much about Chinmaya Mission. I started taking courses at Chinmaya International Foundation. That's how I got to know about Chinmaya Mission. So mm-hmm. I've been sharing my journey and the purpose and the relevance of it. I don't think I've gone into detail about Chinmaya
Sure.
Mission and what the Chinmaya Mission does. So I know it does a lot, and we probably need a lot more time to kind of go through everything. But if you can briefly tell the listeners what Chinmaya Mission does in like 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Swami Chinmayananda is a seeker who was able to tune into the source of happiness that's coming from within. And once one finds the source of happiness, they stop acting for fulfillment and they start acting out of fulfillment. And so what Swami Chinmayananda did, he started acting out of fulfillment. And this action was to share his experience with others in a most accessible way, which is why this sharing was in English. This sharing was with all sorts of backgrounds. The sharing was for kids. Now, to share at an international level, an organization helps to facilitate that. Hence the word mission. So Chinmaya Mission is an organization founded by Swami Chinmayananda to share how to be happy. And he wasn't fond of the idea of an organization being named after him, that is Chinmayananda. So this was Chinmaya. Maya means to be filled with. To be filled with chit. Chit means awareness, consciousness, vigilance. So that's the purpose of this organization, to help people be more aware of their nature, of their potential. And as I mentioned, this is done in such diverse ways, like there's kids programs and there's young adult programs and there's mentorship programs. There are pilgrimages and there's schools and there's online portals, and we can go on and on and on about this. And there are trained teachers also. I am most fortunate, lucky that I got to study as a monk in a monastery, and this training has helped me to tune into this vision and to share also. And there's thousands, millions who are following the same flow through study groups like yourself, through the Chinmaya International Foundation, and so on. I hope that I've shared this in a clear enough way, because I don't want this dialogue to be abstract and poetic only. So please let me know if you want me to focus on a certain part more.
No, you've explained it so much better than I could ever do. I'm sure in multiple episodes, because this has been such a huge part of my journey the last 2-3 years, and I spend a huge part of my time studying. So it's been such a big part. So I've mentioned this, but you've explained it so much better than I ever could. And I knew I had a very strong reason why I wanted you here today. Before we go into the actual topic of the conversation, why we got together today, just as a prelude to that, I want to mention about the crowdfunding campaign that we're involved in now. And this is how I got to know you, because a few weeks ago, there were a bunch of emails coming from the Chinmaya International Foundation, Chinmaya Mission, Washington Regional Center, where I'm volunteering from the past couple of years. And at first, I didn't know much about it. And then when I started reading about it, I really connected with the cause. And that is what we're going to talk about. But that is when, being part of that team, being part of the ambassadors team, I met you online, because we have weekly meetings or satsangs every week, just to kind of collaborate and share ideas. And I was so impressed by the clarity that you have, the way you organize stuff, the way you express your ideas. And I have a habit of sharing whatever is going on in my life. And this cause is going on right now. So I either blog about it, talk about it, share on my online media, whatever. So while I was thinking about that, I thought it would be really cool if you are part of this conversation and you can explain it so much better. So that's when I reached out to you. Just to expand on it, Vivekji and his team is leading this effort, this amazing crowdfunding campaign that's going on in North America right now, under the guidance of Swami Ishwarananda. The whole Chinmaya team is working really as one single entity, trying to put all our efforts towards this campaign. And if you could please talk about what the campaign is, what
Sure.
is it that we are working towards? Maybe you can start out by telling us a little bit about Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth itself.
Sure. These are great sentiments that you're sharing, and I'm happy I get to share thoughts on the same. Defining this more from Sanskrit to English, Peet means establishment, and Vidya means knowledge. So Vidyapeeth is an establishment of knowledge. Now, there's different types of knowledges, like knowledge of cooking, knowledge of economics, and so on. But this knowledge is of Chinmaya. Chinmaya means awareness of oneself, awareness of life. Swami Chinmayananda, through Chinmaya Mission, has created a university. This university was founded in 2016, so we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary. This is very new. If we think about schools that are known in the world, these institutions are 50, 100, 200 years old. This university is only 5 years old. And the vision, the purpose of this university is really vertical integration. If you think of a company like Amazon, Amazon first started out more like a delivery company. And then they started streaming movies. And now I'm sure you can buy insurance and there's web services and so on. Mm-hmm. So they're taking and offering to the people, and they're integrating that to where you can get anything from Amazon. You can get everything from Amazon. It sounds like I work for them. I do not work for Amazon. So the same goes with our Chinmaya University. We have a kids program that focuses on self-development. We call that Balavihar. We have a young adults wing, which we call Chinmaya Yuvakendra. I actively work with this wing. Now, when you go from elementary school to high school to university, wouldn't it be lovely to keep on going with that self-development, even in university? And that's the, again, vision and purpose of this university, is to continue that education on converting values to virtues. So this is a simplistic sentiment towards what the Chinmaya University is, or the Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth. Those are synonymous. And what the Chinmaya Mission family around the world. And this is not just those who are part of Chinmaya Mission like myself or yourself, but rather anyone who's passionate about holistic education, education that gives more emphasis to values than to valuables, would have a appreciation for our Chinmaya University. And so what we've done now is started a crowdfunding campaign. Meetings for this began in January of 2021. And the first campaign in the world began on May 8th. And these first campaigns were launched in Australia and in England. On June 30th, it was launched in India. And in America, this was launched on September 10th. So there's different tiers that are starting these campaigns. These campaigns, number one, are to spread awareness of this university. Just like your podcast, where you're sharing your own reflections. Why are you doing this? The foremost reason is to spread awareness about how there is a science of happiness, how we can be happy independently. Mm-hmm. So though it's called a crowdfunding campaign, the more important word here is campaign. That is to spread awareness that such a university exists. Mm-hmm. When I had completed high school and was thinking about university, I never thought of a university that focused on values. It was a default to go to a university that focused on valuables, right? That's what business school is. Mm-hmm. But now I have 2 children of my own. My wife is an immigration attorney. As we think about our relationship and we think about the future of our family, it would be most lovely if our 2 sons were able to study in such a university, because my wife and I know that we would be better people if we went to such a university. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't we send our kids there? We're too old to go there right now, but our kids can certainly go. So this campaign is to spread awareness about this university. And now the crowdfunding part.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we go to a college or university, we take for granted that everything is just there.
Mm-hmm.
The infrastructure and the professors and the systems and so on. As I mentioned, this university just started. It's been 5 years. So everything is coming up off the ground, from being accredited to developing scholarships to creating a lecture hall. And all of this requires resources.
Mm-hmm.
We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
The computer you're using, the computer I'm using, the internet, the insulation in our homes, the headphones of all of the listeners, everything requires resources.
Mm-hmm.
And this crowdfunding campaign is to reach out to a large group of people
Mm-hmm.
for small amounts of funds.
Mm-hmm.
That way, awareness becomes number one, and the accumulation of resources becomes number two. And I'll speak in more detail about America after you share some sentiments too, because I don't want to be
No, please.
I don't want to be a
ahead,
hog and keep on talking and talking and talking. All I wanted to share was, in America,
Mm-hmm.
we began our campaign on September 10th. Today's September 30th.
Mm-hmm.
In exactly 3 weeks, we have been able to raise approximately $2.4 million
Wow.
for our university, thanks to great ambassadors, people who spread the word like yourself. And I know there are many other individual donors and collective donors who have checks that they just haven't mailed to us, as
Mm-hmm.
into our organizing team.
Mm-hmm.
So this 2.4 million is actually much more.
Okay.
It would be closer to around 2.7, 2.8 million already in a few weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this idea of a crowdfunding campaign has been quite beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's actually been amazing to watch how everybody is coming together towards this common cause and how everybody is owning it. You've shared most of the sentiments I actually felt when I wanted to participate in this cause, because when I was growing up, I would have loved to be in a university like this.
Mm-hmm.
And if my children are grown up now, one is in med school and one is in final year of undergrad. So
Okay.
if I knew about this system of knowledge when they were younger, I would have definitely considered. I mean, I can't force them once they get to colleges. They have to have that affinity towards it. But I would have definitely encouraged and explored it for sure. And there are several reasons for that. Through my own experiences, I understand the value of this kind of education. I studied engineering, but like you, I have never been fulfilled in what I was doing. I did not understand the purpose. I did not understand the meaning of what I did not understand how I was making a difference, basically. And I think fulfillment comes when there is a purpose to our
Mm-hmm.
whatever we are doing. So for me, it took a lot of years of self-exploration because I did not have guidance. All we were taught, like you mentioned, was just the valuables that we would get out of education. You go to a job, you earn this much. And, everything was money oriented. But we were not taught how to actually learn being aware, learn being intentional. That was not taught. And I think that is the biggest thing that we have missed out as a generation, really, because I can see that happening around me as well, amongst many other people. Like, for example, we were taught, like, this is how you work on your computer. This is how you work on Excel or Word or something. But we weren't taught how to focus.
Yes.
Our mind is getting distracted all the time. We don't know how to calm the mind, especially there's several reasons. There's no clarity of why we are doing it. There's this monkey mind, which we do not know how to control.
Yes.
So, and result of that is unfulfillment. So what I understood when I read about this cause is that this university will be addressing all those and helping us grow both outwardly and inwardly, giving us that inner strength to handle whatever is coming our way in the outer world. So that is what actually inspired me to be in this campaign. And that is why I am so like, generally it's a little bit difficult to ask people for money. but because this is so good, the cause is so good, and the vision is so noble and great, and we need people like that. The more we have people who are more integrated in thinking, the better the world will be, is a belief I share. It's been an amazing experience being part of this, and I'm very grateful that even in a very small way, I am involved in this. I mean, in the bigger picture, my contribution is very, very, very little, but I'm grateful that I'm just part of this effort that the mission is taking on. It's also an opportunity to, just like you said, not on the money part is secondary. Even for me, when I started reaching out to people,
Yes,
the money part was secondary. I mean, I was like, yeah, please donate. It would be lovely, because this would manifest only if we all come together in this material way. But at the same time, I wanted people to know that there is this opportunity for your kids that we did not have. And I should mention that people have been so amazingly kind. Whoever I've reached out to, they've been so welcoming with the idea, and they understand the importance of an university like this. I think with this conversation and with your explanation, I think it's going to be much more clearer. I haven't had the opportunity to tell them in such detail. But even without that, they were so kind and generous with their time and money and sharing. So I've been encouraging people not only to give money, but to share the link of the campaign to whoever they can share with, if they are also inspired.
Yes.
Thank you so much for providing this opportunity to all of us to focus our energies in a very pointed way. And if you want to share any other thoughts in regards to the importance of holistic education and how it would be helpful, please feel free to add to this.
I feel that you're an icon of holistic education, in the sense, my observation is that we can give or serve people or humanity in three ways. The easiest is to give resources, more difficult is to give time, and the most difficult is to give effort. And I'm sharing this with you because you've given all of that. You're one of our top ambassadors. You're giving your time to reach out to other people personally, collectively, and your effort. Our dialogue right now is your innovation, and it is being facilitated by you. Our Chinmaya University, and I keep using the word our, not in reference to Vivek or Nilima, but there's no barriers to entry. You don't have to be part of the organization. You don't have to love Swami Chinmayananda. This is about making values the reason you live. Our university is, in terms of description, built on 4 pillars. And those 4 pillars are purity, spirituality, practicality, and innovation. If we think about these marginally deeper, purity, there is a lot of selfishness in humanity. This is evident in how leaders fight with each other, and the followers are the ones who suffer. This is happening in countries around the world. If every student who went through a university, if that became the first building block of their life, that is purity, a lot of that would be alleviated. Then spirituality. My observation is purpose pulls performance. If one's purpose is shallow, one's pool is shallow, so one's performance will be shallow. The deepest purpose in anyone's life is to feel their spirit. It's as simple as, if I want bigger muscles, I go to a gym, and everyone can do that. But if I want a quieter mind, then what do? It requires a guide, as you had mentioned. It requires practice. So the second building block of life Imagine everyone who went to university had such a purpose. And then practicality. There is no point in a philosophy that one cannot practice.
Mm-hmm.
I've shared this with many of my students, to not study a philosophy from one who doesn't practice that philosophy, because it is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Only when you practice a philosophy are the insights revealed to you. Can you feel this? So in terms of tuning into one's spirit and how to practice that with the family, I mentioned toddlers, they give me endless opportunities
Mm-hmm.
to practice
Mm-hmm.
patience, acceptance, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Right now across the world, there are many conferences and campaigns about addressing climate change. Innovation is almost like the Chinmaya University thinking about the future, what we can do in terms of the value system of in politics, how people can be more dedicated to the environment. These 4 pillars of the university, these 4 building blocks of one's personality, is a great representation of a holistic education. It is not just about efficiency, because sometimes when one is only thinking about efficiency, they become inefficient then.
Mm-hmm.
They become easily rattled and then broken.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned that in terms of how distracted I am, our neighbors are, right? Mm-hmm. Distraction is becoming prevalent. Mm-hmm. In a university, in any sort of education system or forum that is nurturing values, there will be focus there. Mm-hmm. And anyone who can focus will be successful. Yes. In the secular field, in the sacred field. Mm-hmm. That's some more details about the depth of this university. Mm-hmm. And this is all aligned with, and I'm going to read a quote out to you that I have remembered from Swami Chinmayananda. Mm-hmm. Training the mind is the essence of education. Mm-hmm. Training the mind is the essence of education. And the Chinmaya University does that not just in the classroom, but in a comprehensive way. The programs that are offered, the professors that teach, the schedules that one has to follow in terms of getting up and going to sleep. Mm-hmm. When I was in university, none of these points were addressed. Mm-hmm. And I'm fortunate, I'm lucky that I was able to go to university and then supplement that education with the education I'm now describing. Mm-hmm. I got to live in a monastery for more than 2 years, but not everyone has that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Not everyone can live as like a monk. The Chinmaya University provides a more universal experience.
That's amazing. And really, really grateful for this vision to be manifesting in this way. I think it's just going to change the world, and it's just going to change how we all perceive ourselves and the world, and how we actually learn to think beyond ourselves, because like if everybody around us is unhappy, we cannot be happy. So we have to think as a complete unit. And I think the tagline of the university is one world, one knowledge. Yes, something like that. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. For the campaign, that's the slogan, one world, one knowledge. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you mentioned that there are no barriers really, because a lot of people, not a lot, but at least some people perceive Chinmaya Mission as a religious entity, and this university is affiliated to something to do with a particular religion and all that. There is no such thing. And actually, I am one of those people guilty of feeling that way before I got associated and started studying Vedanta. I was a little bit against religion because of my ignorance of what religion is actually. I was agnostic, and I didn't have clarity of the purpose of religion. So now the perception is completely changed, and I understand the importance and what the relevance is of any religion and any faith, and how important it is for anybody. This is not limited to any race, any religion, anything. Anybody who is interested in finding independent joy, growing both inwardly and outwardly, is welcome to study with Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth, Chinmaya Mission, any Balavihar, any program that the organization offers, I suppose.
Yeah, certainly.
And Vivekji, if you can share how our listeners, the people who are listening in, if they're inspired by the idea of this university, how can they contribute?
Yeah, understood. Thank you again for the opportunity to think more about the nobility of this cause and this campaign, and for allowing us to share the same opportunity with others. I'm presuming that most of the listeners are in America. I'm just presuming this. In America, as I mentioned, our campaign started on Friday, September 10th, and our campaign will be completed on Friday, October 15th. That's exactly 2 weeks that are remaining in our campaign. Mm-hmm. The earlier part of our campaign was to encourage all to become ambassadors, like you, Nilima. An ambassador is one who reaches out to their family, to their friends, to share the awareness about the university and to encourage family, friends, etc., to contribute resources to build up this university. Mm-hmm. The point that you mentioned multiple times about there not being barriers to entry, much of the resources from this campaign will go to facilitate scholarships. Mm-hmm. If we think about the typical student who studies at an American university, their family's income, as compared to a typical student who will study at the Chinmaya University, is very different. Mm-hmm. The need for scholarships is significant in a country like India. Mm-hmm. Our campaign is being facilitated, making this easy for people through a portal called Raisely. And the whole website or link is CEF, that stands for Chinmaya Education Foundation. Mm-hmm. That is the charity that is receiving the funds that people are offering. CEF dot Raisely, like the word raise, and then LY, Raisely. Mm-hmm. This is a great portal that helps charities raise funds. Mm-hmm. And why I'm saying this is great, there are many portals like this. This one is great because they do not take any fees. Mm-hmm. So if Vivek donates $100, then the Chinmaya Education Foundation gets $100. Raisely doesn't take any of those fees.
That's very
and nice. That's important to note, because in so many charities or middle parties, there's always these commissions that are being taken off, but not in this case. Mm-hmm. .com. Mm-hmm. CEF.raisely.com. If you go to this website, you will see the details that Nilima and myself have verbally described. You will see our ambassadors. Nilima is one of our top ambassadors. She's beating me. I keep trying to catch up with her, but I'm unable to right now. You will see all of the centers across America that are involved, from Ann Arbor to Orlando, and you can offer your contribution to Nilima. You can do this anonymously. And this is all charitable work. Mm-hmm. Through your donations, you will get a US tax receipt, and spread the word to your family, to your friends, to your coworkers, to your co-students. This is about making such universities more accessible. Mm-hmm. Right now, the campus that is being built is in Velianad, Kerala, India. Wouldn't it be lovely to have a campus in Richmond, Virginia, or in Toronto, Ontario?
One day.
Your grandchildren, my children, etc., that can go and study at. Even we can, right? Mm-hmm. If the university was in Toronto, then I could go and study another degree over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope those details are clear enough.
You've clearly mentioned the website also in such a clear way. I'm going to put the links of the campaign in the description of the podcast. In this campaign page, each ambassador, there's hundreds of ambassadors like myself and Vivekji and others who have signed up, who are trying to spread the word. And each ambassador has their own page, or you can even donate directly on the main campaign page itself. You don't have to, I guess, donate to any ambassadors page also. So I'll provide links to Vivekji's page, my page, and also the campaign page. You can donate using any link that you want. It's all for the same cause. It doesn't really matter. And like Vivekji mentioned, even if you cannot donate, please, if you think that this has value and this inspires you and you want to spread awareness, please share this with everyone in your circle. Thank you so much, Vivekji. I cannot tell you in words. I'm so honored and thankful that you took the time to just spend this few minutes with me. And I would love to talk about so many different topics. And I hope I get more opportunities in the future to have a conversation on other topics and reflect more. Thank you so much, Vivekji. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Nilimaji. And I have enjoyed myself a lot, and I hope I get to meet some of your listeners in the future, whether it's virtually or physically. And I'm available. Anytime you want to talk about life, you want to talk about living, we'll set this up and we'll keep doing this, because today's podcast was less personal in the sense that we're talking about a university, which obviously is noble. Mm-hmm. The next time that you and I get together, then we'll have a more personal dialogue about what you're studying and feeling and what I'm studying and feeling.
Definitely. I would love that. And I would enjoy that a lot. And I don't know who my listeners are. So they're from all over the place. So whoever it is, we are spreading this word about this wonderful thing happening. So thank you. And Hari Om, Vivekji. Namaste. And have a great night. I will catch up with you another time with an equally enlightening and insightful conversation.
Sounds good. And same to you.
Thank you for listening to today's reflections. If you would like to connect with me, please visit bluishmuse.com. Until next time, namaste.